Your soulmate just got a call, and the message changed everything about you. My beloved child, pause for a moment and listen carefully, because this message is reaching you at a time when something unseen is shifting inside the heart of the person you love. There are moments in life when one unexpected call can change the direction of an entire story. A simple ring, a familiar voice, a piece of information, or a sentence spoken at the right moment can awaken memories that someone has tried desperately to silence. My beloved child, your soulmate may have recently received a call that made them stop, think, remember, and look at their life differently. What they heard may have caused them to revisit conversations, memories, decisions, and emotions connected to you. They may have tried to move forward as if everything was finished, but something inside them has remained connected to your presence. Today, I want you to understand that not every silence means the absence of love, and not every distance means the end of a connection. Sometimes distance gives a person enough room to finally recognize what they could not see while you were standing directly in front of them. My beloved child, there is a reason this message is finding you now. You may have spent nights wondering whether your soulmate remembers you. You may have questioned whether they still think about your voice, your smile, your kindness, or the moments you shared. You may have wondered whether they regret walking away, whether they miss you, whether they secretly check for signs of you, or whether they have completely moved on. But listen closely, because the emotional story may be far more complicated than what you can see from the outside. A person can remain silent while carrying thousands of thoughts inside their heart. They can appear calm while fighting an internal battle. They can say they are fine while remembering someone every time a certain song plays, every time a familiar place appears, every time a particular hour arrives, or every time something reminds them of the person they once loved deeply. My beloved child, that unexpected call may have opened a door inside your soulmate's mind. Perhaps someone mentioned your name. Perhaps someone brought up a situation connected to you. Perhaps your soulmate received news that reminded them of a promise, a conversation, a place, or a moment that belonged to both of you. Maybe the call had nothing obvious to do with you, yet the information they received triggered memories of you anyway. That is how the human heart works. Sometimes one small detail can unlock an entire chapter that a person thought they had closed. They may suddenly remember how you looked at them when you were trying to understand them. They may remember the patience you showed when they were confused. They may remember the way you cared without asking for anything in return. They may remember your messages, your voice, your encouragement, or even the disagreements that once seemed so important. And suddenly, what once felt ordinary begins to feel precious. My beloved child, sometimes people recognize value only after experiencing its absence. They may not have understood your presence when it was available to them every day, but when life becomes quieter, they begin to notice what is missing. They begin comparing the present with the past. They begin asking themselves questions they avoided before. They begin wondering whether they made the right decision. And when that happens, the heart becomes difficult to control. Your soulmate may be experiencing this kind of inner reflection right now. They may be asking, why am I still thinking about this person? They may wonder why your memory continues to appear when they are trying to focus on other things. They may question why certain memories still carry emotional weight. They may wonder whether the connection was more meaningful than they originally admitted. My beloved child, Do not be surprised if someone who once acted distant begins becoming emotionally curious again. They may not immediately return with a dramatic declaration. They may begin with something small. A simple message. A casual question. A reaction. A missed call. A reason to start a conversation. Sometimes the heart does not know how to return directly, so it creates a small doorway. That doorway may look ordinary, but behind it can be a mountain of emotions. Your soulmate may be thinking about how to approach you without exposing everything they feel. They may fear rejection. They may fear that you have changed. They may fear that you no longer care. They may wonder whether you would listen if they finally spoke honestly. And because of these fears, they may move slowly. My beloved child, remember this: you do not need to chase what is meant to meet you with genuine effort. You do not need to beg someone to recognize your value. You do not need to prove that you deserve love. Your worth existed before anyone chose to see it. Your heart has value even when another person is confused. Your presence matters even when someone is silent. If your soulmate is truly reflecting on the past, let that reflection happen naturally. Do not force their awakening. Do not manipulate their emotions. Do not create jealousy simply to get a reaction. Let truth do the work that pressure never could. My beloved child, there may have been a time when your soulmate believed that moving away from you would make their feelings disappear. They may have convinced themselves that they could forget. They may have tried to stay busy, meet new people, focus on work, change routines, or create emotional distance. But forgetting a meaningful connection is not always as simple as walking away. Sometimes the mind accepts distance while the heart continues remembering. That is why an unexpected call can become so powerful. It can interrupt the routine and force someone to confront what they have been avoiding. Imagine your soulmate sitting quietly after the call ends. The phone is still in their hand. The room is silent. But their thoughts are loud. They replay what they heard. Then your memory appears. They wonder why you came to mind so quickly. They may ask themselves whether there is unfinished business between you. They may remember something you once said. They may suddenly understand the meaning behind words they previously ignored. They may realize that your love was not demanding perfection, perhaps you simply wanted honesty, respect, consistency, and genuine effort. My beloved child, sometimes the greatest realization comes when someone finally understands what you were actually asking for. You were not asking them to become someone else. You were asking them to be real. You were asking for communication. You were asking for emotional clarity. You were asking them not to disappear when things became difficult. You were asking for a love that could stand in both sunshine and storms. And perhaps your soulmate is now beginning to understand that. Perhaps they realize that what they once considered pressure was actually your desire for security. Perhaps they understand that your questions came from caring. Perhaps they realize that your emotional reactions were connected to uncertainty. This does not mean every mistake should be forgotten, and it does not mean you should ignore your boundaries. It means you can allow understanding to grow without sacrificing your self-respect. My beloved child, if this connection is meant to return in a healthy way, it must return differently. It cannot simply repeat the same cycle. A reunion without growth becomes another separation waiting to happen. If your soulmate comes back, let their actions speak. Words can be beautiful, but consistency reveals intention. Promises can sound powerful, but behavior reveals whether someone has truly changed. Do not measure love only by how strongly someone speaks when emotions are high. Watch what they do when life becomes difficult. Watch whether they communicate. Watch whether they respect your boundaries. Watch whether they take responsibility. Watch whether they make room for you rather than simply asking you to make room for them. My beloved child, you are entering a season where clarity matters more than confusion. You no longer need to live inside endless questions. You can love someone while still protecting your peace. You can hope without putting your life on pause. You can care without chasing. You can believe in a connection without abandoning yourself. And if your soulmate is genuinely awakening to your value, you will eventually see evidence through their choices. The call may have been the beginning of a realization, but realization must become action. The heart can wake up in a single moment, but trust is rebuilt through many moments. My beloved child, perhaps your soulmate has recently heard something that reminded them that life is moving forward. Maybe they heard about someone getting married. Maybe they heard about a place you used to visit. Maybe someone asked about you. Maybe they came across an old photograph. Maybe a mutual connection mentioned something about your life. Maybe the call carried news that made them realize how much time has passed. Whatever the trigger was, it may have caused them to recognize that waiting forever is not an option. Time changes people. Time changes circumstances. Time can create distance that becomes difficult to cross. And sometimes a person suddenly realizes that if they want to say something, they cannot keep waiting for the perfect moment. My beloved child, perfection is often an excuse for delay. There may never be a perfect moment. There may only be a moment when someone decides to be honest. Your soulmate may be approaching that point. They may be thinking about what they would say if they contacted you. They may write a message and delete it. They may open your conversation and close it. They may type yo. Not respond from desperation. Respond from peace. If they speak honestly, listen. If they avoid responsibility, notice it. If they apologize, see whether the apology is followed by changed behavior. If they say they miss you, ask yourself whether they are prepared to build something healthier. Love should not only be about missing someone. Love should also be about knowing how to treat them. My beloved child, perhaps the greatest transformation happening now is not inside your soulmate but inside you. You are learning that you can love without losing yourself. You are learning that patience does not mean accepting disrespect. You are learning that hope does not require obsession. You are learning that silence can be information. You are learning that sometimes the strongest response is no response until clarity arrives. And this growth will protect you regardless of what happens next. The call your soulmate received may have changed their thoughts, but your own awakening can change your entire life. Let that be your focus. Let your heart remain open but your boundaries remain strong. Let your dreams continue. Let your life continue. Let your joy continue. My beloved child, if this person is meant to reconnect with you, they will have to meet the version of you that has learned to value peace. They cannot expect you to return to the old version of yourself who tolerated confusion simply because love was present. A healthier chapter requires healthier behavior. Perhaps your soulmate is beginning to understand this. Perhaps the call made them realize that time is moving. Perhaps they finally understand that some connections cannot be replaced simply by finding someone new. Perhaps they are comparing experiences and realizing that emotional depth is rare. Perhaps they are remembering how you made them feel understood. Perhaps they are recognizing that you were not just another person passing through their life. My beloved child, sometimes the heart understands after the mind has finished arguing. Your soulmate may have told themselves many reasons why they should move on, but one unexpected reminder can make all those arguments feel incomplete. They may remember the warmth they felt with you. They may remember moments when they felt safe enough to be vulnerable. They may remember your encouragement during difficult times. They may remember your laughter. They may remember your patience. They may even remember the disagreements because those moments showed how deeply both of you cared. Memory is not always logical. It follows emotion. And emotion can return suddenly. My beloved child, do not be frightened by the possibility of a renewed connection, but do not become consumed by it either. Let the story unfold. If a message arrives, breathe before answering. If a call comes, listen carefully. If they ask to talk, decide whether the conversation serves your peace. You are allowed to have standards. You are allowed to ask what changed. You are allowed to ask what they want. You are allowed to say that you need consistency. You are allowed to protect your heart. These are not signs that you do not love them. They are signs that you have learned to love yourself too. My beloved child, there is a difference between a person missing you and a person being ready for you. Missing you is an emotion. Being ready for you is a decision supported by action. Keep this distinction close to your heart. If your soulmate truly wants another chance, they must show readiness, not just nostalgia. They must be willing to communicate honestly, acknowledge the past, and build something new. They cannot simply reopen an old door and expect everything to feel the same. Too much has happened. Both of you have changed. The new relationship must be based on the people you are now, not only the memories of who you were. My beloved child, perhaps the call was a wake-up moment. Perhaps it made your soulmate realize that some things cannot remain unsaid forever. Perhaps it encouraged them to confront emotions they had hidden. Perhaps they are now closer to reaching out than they have been in a long time. But let them make that choice themselves. Genuine love does not need to be forced. If they have something to say, allow them the courage to say it. If they want to repair something, allow them to take responsibility for the repair. If they want to return, allow them to walk toward you with clear intention. Your job is not to carry both sides of the relationship. My beloved child, you have carried enough. You have waited enough. You have wondered enough. You have replayed conversations enough. Now let your life become peaceful again. If something is meant to return, it can find you while you are living. You do not have to stand at the door all night waiting. You can walk into your future. You can pursue your goals. You can laugh again. You can make plans. you can become excited about life. And if your soulmate appears on that journey with genuine intention, you can decide whether their presence belongs in your future. My beloved child, remember that the deepest love is not the love that creates the most anxiety. It is the love that creates safety, honesty, growth, and mutual effort. If the call awakens something in your soulmate, let that awakening lead them toward maturity rather than impulsive emotion. Let them think carefully. Let them understand what they want. Let them become courageous enough to communicate. Let them prove that the connection matters through consistent actions. You do not need to manufacture signs. You do not need to search every coincidence for meaning. You do not need to obsess over every notification. Your peace is more valuable than endless interpretation. My beloved child, there may come a moment when you realize why the delay happened. Maybe you needed time to grow. Maybe they needed time to understand themselves. Maybe circumstances needed to change. Maybe the relationship needed distance so both of you could recognize what was healthy and what was not. Whatever the reason, do not let the past steal the present. Let the lessons remain, but release the fear. Your future deserves your attention. And if this connection has a genuine future, it will require both people to show up in that future. My beloved child, the unexpected call may have been important, but your response to life is even more important. Choose peace. Choose wisdom. Choose dignity. Choose honesty. Choose patience without stagnation. Choose hope without obsession. Choose love without self-abandonment. And if your soulmate eventually reaches out, meet that moment with calmness. Do not punish them simply because you were hurt, but do not ignore your pain either. Speak honestly. Listen honestly. Ask honest questions. Give yourself permission to move slowly. Trust should be earned. My beloved child, perhaps this is the beginning of a conversation that has been delayed for too long. Perhaps your soulmate is finally realizing that some feelings cannot be buried forever. Perhaps the call reminded them of something they thought they had forgotten. Perhaps they are beginning to understand your place in their story. Whatever happens, know this: you do not need to chase the answer. Let truth come to you through action. Let time reveal intention. Let consistency reveal sincerity. And let your heart remain anchored in peace. My beloved child, if your soulmate is thinking about you tonight, let them think. If they miss you, let them feel that absence. If they regret something, let them confront it. If they want to contact you, let them find the courage. If they are ready to apologize, let them speak. If they are ready to rebuild, let them show you. You do not have to do their work for them. Your responsibility is to honor your own journey. The chapter ahead does not need to look like the chapter behind you. It can be wiser. It can be calmer. It can be more honest. It can be filled with mutual respect. My beloved child, never forget that love is not proven by how much uncertainty you can tolerate. Love is proven by how willing two people are to create clarity together. So if your soulmate returns, look for clarity. If they communicate, look for consistency. If they promise, look for action. If they apologize, look for change. If they say they love you, look at how they treat you. These simple truths can protect your heart while still allowing love to exist. My beloved child, the call may have changed something inside your soulmate, but you are not required to become anxious about what happens next. Let them take their step. You take yours. Let them face their emotions. You face your future. Let them decide what they want. You decide what you will accept. This is how a healthier connection begins. And if the two paths meet again, let them meet from a place of maturity rather than fear. My beloved child, perhaps you have been asking for a sign that this person still cares. Instead of searching for signs, watch for sincere effort. Effort is clearer than coincidence. Communication is clearer than assumptions. Respect is clearer than romantic words. Let reality become your guide. And remember, your heart deserves something real. My beloved child, you have survived moments when you thought you would never feel peaceful again. You have learned from disappointment. You have grown through silence. You have discovered parts of yourself that you did not know existed. You are not the same person who once waited anxiously for an answer. You are becoming someone who knows that love should meet you halfway. That transformation is powerful. Let it continue. If your soulmate is also transforming, perhaps the future can hold a different kind of connection. But let that future prove itself. Do not force it into existence. My beloved child, take a deep breath and release the need to know every detail right now. The call happened. The message was received. The thoughts were awakened. What? Your future is yours. My beloved child, perhaps one day you will look back at this entire chapter and understand why everything happened in the order it did. You may realize that the distance taught you patience. The silence taught you boundaries. The heartbreak taught you strength. The uncertainty taught you to trust actions. The unexpected call may simply be one moment in a much larger story. Do not make one moment responsible for your entire future. Let the story unfold. My beloved child, if your soulmate truly feels what they have been hiding, eventually their behavior will reveal it. People can hide emotions for a while, but consistent choices are difficult to hide. If they want you in their life, they will create space. If they value the connection, they will communicate. If they want healing, they will participate in it. If they want a future, they will make practical decisions that support that future. This is what you should watch for. Not rumors. Not assumptions. Not fantasies. Actions. My beloved child, the unexpected call may have opened their eyes, but only their next choices will tell you how much they have truly changed. So remain calm. Remain grounded. Remain loving toward yourself. Do not rush. Do not chase. Do not panic. Let reality speak. And remember that whether this story becomes a reunion or a final lesson, you are still moving towards something greater. Your life is still unfolding. Your heart is still capable of love. Your future is still full of possibility. My beloved child, the person you are becoming is someone who no longer begs for clarity. You recognize that clarity is a basic part of healthy love. You no longer accept endless mixed signals as proof of passion. You understand that peace matters. You understand that consistency matters. You understand that love should not require you to lose your identity. This knowledge will protect you in every relationship you ever have. My beloved child, perhaps the call has already happened. Perhaps your soulmate is still thinking about what they heard. Perhaps they are deciding whether to contact you. Whatever stage they are in, release the need to control the outcome. Let them make their decision. Let yourself make yours. If paths cross again, let it be because both people are ready. And if the path moves in another direction, trust that your life can still become everything you hoped it would be. My beloved child, there is no wasted growth. Every lesson becomes part of your wisdom. Every tear teaches something. Every disappointment reveals something. Every ending creates space for something new. Even if you cannot understand the purpose today, you may understand it later. So do not allow uncertainty to steal your present. Be here. Be alive. Be hopeful. Be peaceful. Be yourself. My beloved child, if your soulmate sends that first message, do not assume you know what it means. Let them explain. If they call, listen. If they ask to meet, decide carefully. If they apologize, hear them. If they express love, ask what they intend to do with that love. Love becomes meaningful when it becomes behavior. Let that principle guide you. My beloved child, perhaps this is not only a message about your soulmate. Perhaps it is a message about your own awakening. You have spent enough time wondering whether someone else sees your value. Now see it yourself. You have spent enough time waiting for someone else to choose you. Choose yourself. You have spent enough time worrying about whether they will return. Return to yourself. Return to your dreams. Return to your confidence. Return to your peace. And if they come back, let them meet you there. My beloved child, I want you to remember that the strongest reunion is not two people desperately trying to recreate the past. It is two people meeting again with greater wisdom. It is two people who have learned from mistakes. It is two people who can communicate instead of disappearing. It is two people who can disagree without destroying the connection. It is two people who can love without manipulating. It is two people who understand that trust is built slowly. If your soulmate can offer that, then perhaps the story can evolve. If they cannot, then your wisdom will protect you. My beloved child, whatever happens after this call, do not lose yourself in anticipation. Anticipation can become another form of anxiety. Instead, allow the next action to reveal itself. You do not need to predict tomorrow. You only need to live today. The future will arrive without you chasing it. And when it arrives, you will be stronger because you chose peace now. My beloved child, perhaps your soulmate is realizing that your absence feels different from ordinary distance. Perhaps they have met people who did not understand them in the same way. Perhaps they have realized that chemistry is not the same as emotional connection. Perhaps they have recognized that convenience is not the same as commitment. Perhaps they are finally distinguishing between attention and genuine care. If that understanding has awakened because of the call, let it mature. Do not rush it. Real growth takes time. My beloved child, you do not need to convince anyone that what you shared was real. If it was meaningful, they will eventually confront that meaning themselves. You do not need to defend your love. You do not need to explain every memory. You do not need to prove your intentions. Let time reveal what words can